Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. Today I want to give a film review, and it's a funny film review because it's a film review that my wife watched on the flight back from the UK to the US, and I watched having gotten back to the US, and that is Legends. It's a film featuring Tom Hardy in two roles that portrays the Kray brothers. The curious thing about the Kray brothers, they were kind of UK gangsters in the 1960s, was that they had a brother, and if you knew anything about, I've watched documentaries associated with the Kray brothers previously. There's quite a few of them on Netflix. I would imagine that Legends going onto Netflix at some stage would be just a logical consequence of basically all the Kray and UK gangster-related content that's on Netflix currently. I don't know. It's not my section of the company, but I would imagine that it might happen, maybe. I mean, they've got everything else associated with the Kray brothers. Curious thing about the Kray brothers is that many of the documentaries I've seen indicated that they were both bisexual. This film really only makes one of them out to be bisexual. And, there are a few characters missing, like their elder brother, who was relatively critical in the story of the Kray brothers. And I guess in general, I don't know. I thought it was a fun movie to watch. If you didn't know anything about the Krays previously, probably wouldn't have informed you too much. But at the same point, it was a piece of cinema, it was a piece of fiction, and it needed to be treated as independent fantasy. In terms of a London flavour, a London perspective, having come directly from London, I certainly felt it was sympathetic with my experiences of London, in particular travelling through various rundown areas by train, and you just got a sense of tenement blocks and grey and all the wonderful things that London is famous for. What I found particularly fascinating about Legends was that Monty Python had done it 35 years earlier, 45 years early potentially, with the Piranha Brothers.
Last Tuesday, a reign of terror was ended when the notorious Piranha Brothers, Doug and Dinsdale, after one of the most extraordinary trials in British legal history, were sentenced to 400 years imprisonment for crimes of violence.
The Piranha Brothers, I think, are well worth looking up on YouTube. They are probably Python at their best. When I was about 14, I started a rap group, and one of the members of the rap group was known as the Whippet Biter, and that directly comes from the Piranha Brothers bit.
And Dinsdale's there in the conversation pit with Doug and Charles Paisley, the baby crusher, and a couple of film producers, and a man they called Kierkegaard, who just sat there biting the heads off whippets.
It also shows what's my broader concern associated with UK gangsterism, which is that the general population just views them as being slightly ridiculous and melancholy. I certainly found this with the prior Netflix documentaries that I watched associated with UK gangsters. So, in general, I'd recommend Legends, but I would recommend the Piranha Brothers more. I think it's better to watch the Piranha Brothers, which are available in two segmented YouTube clips, after watching Legends in order to get a better understanding of the period soon after the arrest of the Kray brothers and how the whole thing was just generally lampooned. It's a kind of contradiction of what the popular media and popular culture says about them, and I think it represents a slightly more accurate representation of how sadly ironic all these things were. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.
Dinsdale was a gentleman. What's more, he knew how to treat a female impersonator.